So in today's video, we're talking about the secret that nobody tells you in photography when you first start out. Let's jump in. Hello and welcome to another video. So today I'm talking about the secret that nobody tells you when you first start out in photography. Now the reason I say it's a secret is because people don't want to hurt your feelings, but the secret is you're a rubbish photographer. If you've just started in your photography journey, maybe 6 months in, hold on to your first photos. Trust me. In a year's time, 18 months, 2 years time, go back to your very first photos, pick out, and I will do this at the end of the video, I will show you my first photos I took in the first 6 months of photography, and I'll go through what I like and don't like about them. Pick out your best photos that you thought were really good in your first 6 months and have a look at them, and trust me, you will think they are rubbish. And not all of them, some of them you'll probably be okay with, but the ones that you thought, oh, that's an amazing picture, you probably think now actually they're rubbish. Because obviously the more you learn in photography, the better your photos will get, and the more consistent you'll be. So when you look back on your photos from when you first started, you're going to see all those photography mistakes that you've made. Now obviously photography is very, it's very open to interpretation, so you don't need to use leading lines, and you don't need to use diagonals, and you don't need to use S-curves and all that sort of stuff to make good photos, and you can break the rules just as much as you can stick to the rules. But you will see things in your photos that you just wouldn't put in them now. And I say that because the reason I'm talking about this is because I think back to when I first started taking photos. The reason I'm actually thinking about this in the first place was because I've just been teaching my son macro photography, because he's doing GCSE photography. So we've been out taking macro photos, and he's actually got some really nice pictures, and I'll just pop a couple up now and show you the couple that he's got that are actually quite good. And it got me thinking about when I first started taking photos, not just macro photos, but just first started taking photos in general. And I went back and started looking through them, and that's when I realised, you know what, actually, this isn't good. Like I cringed every time I looked at them, because I could remember like the comments that people would leave on my photos, and they'd be, oh my god, this is an amazing photo, and the photos I'll show you at the end of this video all had really positive comments on them. So I'm going to show you those, and you can judge for yourself whether you think they were good, and let me know in the comments at the end whether you think those photos were worthy of a positive comment. Now, I'm not saying we should be telling photographers they're rubbish and pointing out all their mistakes. Positive criticism, I think, is probably better than no criticism at all. Because if you post a photo and your I don't know, your composition's not right, because you say you're taking a photo of a person and you've cut them off in the wrong place, like you've cut them off below the knees, and it just doesn't look good. If you say, oh, that's a great photo, that person's not going to go, actually, that doesn't look good because I've cut them off at the knees. They're going to think, oh, it's an amazing photo, and carry on taking them in that way. Eventually they'll learn. I'm not saying they'll never learn that, but why not help them along to learn that a little bit quicker? So there's nothing wrong with a constructive criticism, and I think we get too hung up on offending people and worrying about whether they are going to get upset because we've told them that the photo is not as good as they think it is, or and I think that's true. Like people, I don't take offence when people criticise my photos. I know I'm not the best photographer, but it's still, you still have that little feeling where you go, oh, I thought it was quite good. But so I'm not saying we should go around harshly criticising people, but I think we should be encouraging people, and especially photographers. If you've learned something, then why not pass that knowledge on? Why not go back and say to the next person, well, if you try this might work a little bit better. And I think people will just, develop their skills a lot quicker that way. But for the sake of this video, let's jump over to, I'll probably put them on the screen share, or I'll probably put the phone up, I don't know. Just an FYI, in my garage at the moment, so I'm setting out my garage so it can use it as a bit more of a space for photography. I'm not going to call it an office because it's a garage, but I'll see if I can improve the backdrop and get the better lighting So it's going to take me a little while, but I'll get there. So that's where I am at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop over to a screen share. I'll show you my photos. I'm going to grab them up on my phone so I can talk you through them. So these are the first photos that I took and thought that they were good. Okay, so this first one. So sunrise. This was taken, it says on the side there, this is August, so not long into it. I think I started in June on my photography journey. So this is August, so June, July, August, so 2 months in. I think I may have overbaked the colours in Photoshop or in Lightroom with this one, because I'm sure the sky wasn't that orange. The pier is quite nice silhouetted, and I think overall, compositionally, it's okay. I'd probably include more of the pier and maybe come more of an angle with the pier. But yeah, it's not a horrendous photo. I think it's just the colouring of the photo that I don't like about it so much now. But back in the day, like I say, I would have thought this was an amazing photo, enough to share it on social media and think I was really good. The next photo, so mushrooms. This is probably my first mushroom shot, and it's absolutely rubbish. Look at the shadows and look at the angle that I've taken it from. Yeah, there's just so much wrong with this photo, so much going on in this photo. But yeah, when was that taken? That was October, so October 21st. Okay, so this next photo is my son, I think. That's my 2 sons. No, that's one of my sons and his friend. And this one I quite like, actually. I quite like the composition of this one. I like the path leads you up to them. So I think this one's quite good. May have overbaked the picture images again. I got this thing, I think I still do a little bit too much saturation in Lightroom. I bump up those colours probably a little bit too much, but you know, I'm just going to tone that down a bit. The next photo is of a bolt. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this photo. It's well exposed. It's got some shadows in it. There's nothing horrendous with it, but it's nothing special about it. Okay, sun shining through some trees. Okay, first of all, it's wonky. It's not straight at all. When did I take this? August, so right at the start. June, July, 2 months in, yeah. So compositionally, it could have been straighter. It's blurry as well. I think there's a bit of blur, but again, this is I stress this, but this is a photo that I thought was good at the time. Light flares. I think I've been watching too much J.J. Abrams. Oh, is that a message? Yeah. So compositionally, again, it's wonky, and the photo is blurry. So another one. And the next one is the moon. Blurry to start with, and it's just the moon right in the center of the image. There's nothing even compositionally that you can't even say that I've positioned it in a good place. I know there's not much going on in the sky, but yeah, that's absolutely rubbish. Okay, so the next one is the groins. So I like the way the groins curve round and go out to sea, which I think was quite good. Compositionally, I think I've cut the top of that last groin off. Now I could have either included that or come down lower, but I just don't think the photo goes anywhere. It leads your eye out to nothing really, and I think we got probably the 3rd groin down focused. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you think that's an okay image? It's not. The light's not great, and it's not the best image anyway. Oh, let's skip on to this one. This is a sunset, August 12th, 2016. What can I say? I was in the UK. I wasn't in the Caribbean. Where these colours have come from, I do not know, because this is definitely not what was on the day. I like the composition. I like the way the sun's in between those branches. Maybe I could have come across to the left a bit more and made it right in the centre. But yeah, definitely overbaked really badly. Okay, Next one, some stones. Where's the light? There's absolutely no light on it. Composition, it's a bit too far to the right. I think I would have probably centered this. Yeah, I'd have probably come down lower as well now if I took that again. It's not the greatest picture, is it? And the next one is my dog in the woods. I think it's probably taken on the same day as the other woods photo, 13th of August, yeah. And now this one's, again, it's the path, using the path as the leading line. I think, again, it's just a little bit out of focus. It's not, oh, my son's there as well in the dark shadows. What a great photo, hiding in the shadows. Yeah, again, it's underexposed where it should be a little bit lighter. I think, like, well, he should have been on the path, for example, in the light. Obviously, this goes back to the sun, so it's never going to be on his face, but yeah, just not very good. Next photo, so this is a village in Sholden, August 9th. This one's not too bad. I quite like this one. I don't like obviously there's wheelie bins in the shot, and I'm just playing around with angles, I think, here, and I like the way it comes from the left and moves its way around the frame, so it's not an actual bad image as such, it's just not a very good image. Okay, so the next one is, I think that's Hator Rock on Dartmoor. Probably playing with silhouettes. But yeah, I don't know what that sky's about. Maybe it would have been better in black and white. I'm not sure what I would have done differently there, but obviously that sky's well overexposed, so, and I'm shooting into sunlight, so it was never going to be a great photo. Okay, and my last one, this is the one I was most proud of back in the day when I first took this photo. This was my absolute proudest moment as a photographer, that I managed to slow down the water in this photo. Absolutely awesome. I'll just let you sit with that one for a second. Look how amazing it is. Now, it is focused. I think it's relatively focused. I'm looking at this on a low resolution. I've sent it to myself on a phone because I'm in the garage. At f/22, I probably wouldn't have gone f/22 now, but I was probably trying to get as much, drag the shutter as much as I could. August, so all these seem to be like August onwards of 2016. It's okay compositionally. That tree coming out into the edge of the frame, I might have framed that a little differently, zoomed in on it maybe and used that to overarch the whole image maybe, but I think it's a little bit overexposed as well on that right hand side. So yeah, it's something I wouldn't be proud of today if I'd have took that. But again, I'm still learning. I'm still taking images like this. They're just a little bit better, and hopefully in 6 months, a year's time, I'll be looking back on the images I'm taking now, and I'll be able to learn from those images too. So yeah, so that's it for today's video. So hopefully you've got something out of it. Have a look back on your images and see where you are as a photographer and try and gauge yourself, because you have to remember that if you're gauging yourself against other photographers, you're never going to be as good as a photographer as you are in your own head. So you should always compare yourself to yourself 6 months ago or a year ago. Pick a timeline, because I guarantee you're going to have improved. And if you're doing something like photography as a hobby, or even as a business, you're still going to have those moments where, even as a business, you're going to have made something and look back on it in 6 months or a year and gone, oh, I would have done that differently. So you're always evolving, you're always improving as a photographer. And I think you need to listen to those negative feedback, the people that give you those constructive criticisms. You need to take that on board and learn from that, because it just speeds up your photography journey. So that's it for today's video. So hopefully you got something good out of it. Please do let me know in the comments if you go back and look at your photos and realise how bad or how good you were. all the usual stuff. Please do consider liking and subscribing. If you haven't already liked the video and you did like it, please do consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate that. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.